So excited for all of you that are tuning in on our live stream today. We're going to be chatting about how AI Day is coming to SaaStr Annual. Yeah, AI Day is coming to SaaStr in March. So yeah, gonna share my screen here and chat you guys through the details. Make Waylon a co-host too. Okay, he is cool. Share. So cool. Yeah, exciting news that we want to cover off today. If you're new here, thanks for tuning in. We do these every Thursday on, what's the latest for our sponsors, things in the community. Today we thought we'd chat about AI Day. Maybe at the end we'll tease Miami. Yeah, lots of exciting updates going on at SaaStr. So you may have previously recalled us talking about Demo Day. We decided to actually kind of take some of the speakers we had and turn it more into AI Day because it turned out that everybody wanted to demo AI. So we also already did an AI day at SaaStr Annual. So a lot of really good kismet. We had a lot of folks, who were either on panels about AI who wanted to come back. And so this was a more natural fit. Obviously, it's top of mind for a lot of folks. So yeah, SaaStr AI Day coming March 27, 2024. It'll be our first digital AI day. We did do an AI day track at this last year's SaaStr Annual in September, but super excited to be talking about AI Day. Waylon, I know you've got a lot of partners, and that'll be the focus for today, that are all talking about AI Day. So yeah, what's your take on us doing AI Day?
Well, I think it's great, right? Just kind of happened organically, right? We were
Yeah.
doing demo day, and then everybody just wanted to demo AI solutions and talk about AI solutions. And I think, you look at VC funding, like 85% of funding is AI. So I think it's just like,
Yeah.
it's going to attract a bigger audience. It's going to be better for sponsors. It's going to be better for the speakers. It's just going to be, it's going to be an exciting event all around.
Yeah, there was an article on SaaStr.com, I think last week too, that related. We were talking about how Gen I funding was up and everything else was down. So yeah, super timely. But I mean, there's a lot of questions out there still, right? Of like, how do we do this for real? How serious do I take it? Is it just a fad? So yeah, a lot of those questions we will be answering in the content through the day. A lot of them we have answered as well, with our previous AI Day things we've done at this last annual. But yeah, just to get into it. So AI Day is coming on Wednesday, March 24th. It is a digital event. For this one. These are photos from the AI Day we did on site at SaaStr Annual. But yeah, we're hosting AI Day. It's where SaaS meets AI, or where AI meets SaaS. Yeah, the intersection of the two. So it'll be a completely live digital event. We do have already speakers confirmed that we'll be announcing next week. Lots of really great brands and speakers already in the mix. And yeah, this is again based on our popularity of AI Day, and in trying to do the planning for Demo Day, everybody wanted to demo AI. Everyone was like, "Can I talk about AI?" So we're swapping it to AI Day, kind of going full bore on AI Day, and inviting back some of the faves from the in-person one that we did at the SaaStr Annual. So this will be a live digital event, so anyone can sign up for free. We'll live stream it like we do these ones. We expect, maybe even more people to come to AI Day than Demo Day, just because the title is a bit more accessible. But yeah, there's going to be a bunch of sessions, probably more than 12, but we'll see how many we're going to pack in for the day. It's definitely going to be like a half day streaming live. Yeah, again, theme is learning to scale faster with workshops on, how to incorporate AI, what's real, what's fake, what to take seriously, how to do it, from folks that are doing it already. So that is the kind of theme of the day of AI Day, and obviously, all things LLMs and all those kinds of, and Gen AI and all that. So yeah, this will be streaming live. So just putting in the screenshot here to remind folks that even though we did this in person, this one will be completely digital for AI Day digitally. So this will be fun. So yeah, what is AI Day though for real? If you're like, why do they keep saying this? So yeah, this is really again, brand new digital event steaming off of the success of the AI Day and track that we did at SaaStr Annual. Again, with folks organically that we've chatted with, when we were gearing up to do demo day, they all wanted to demo AI. So we really wanted to shift the focus and highlight to where SaaS meets AI, right? The intersection of the two. We do expect our core audience of founders, revenue leaders, and investors to attend, if not many others, to showcase, what they are doing in AI, their integrations, their advancements. Some of it will be a bit more technical. We'll talk about what's new in AI. What are folks do? Some folks have been doing this for a while, so it's not new to everyone that'll be speaking. But obviously, it's kind of a newer thing that's top of mind. So what do CEOs or revenue leaders need to know about incorporating this, how to do it, and some takeaways, right, from folks who have done it. So that's the kind of landscape for it. Who will attend and how do you partner with us? Those are the next thing we'll cover on AI Day. It will be free for attendees. So again, we do anticipate a similar audience to our previous digital events as well as our in-person events, right? We've got a very vast global community that we expect to attend AI Day, right? Our audience, if you've been to one of our workshop Wednesdays or one of our previous digital events, is always highly engaged in our digital events. So that's just one thing to keep in mind as well. They ask a lot of questions. They do, they're always wanting slides, that kind of thing. So very tactical, very heavily invested in learning here. So, we expect at our in-person events, more than half of our attendees are, VP level or above. I would say similar mix expected and anticipated for AI Day because of what we're discussing, right? Really want to get in front of the leaders, and this is content for the leaders of what it all means, how to incorporate it. So very high engagement, at the leadership level. And we do expect a balance of those folks to come, as well as, watch from across the world on our social media pages and on our live streams. This is how we've done it at our previous digital events. And usually there's, many more folks watching on the live stream, in addition to the Zooms that we do, as we do them concurrently to host the content. So AI Day, that's the theme of the day. Anything else to add here, Waylon?
I think just like doubling down a couple of things is like obviously AI strategy for an organization is really that's a top level priority and it's an executive level priority. So
Yep.
that's going to inform the audience. I think obviously in the past we've done extremely well with founders and revenue leaders, and we do well with product design and engineering teams. But I think that'll be something where we'll probably see a bit more of that here at AI Day, given how involved they are in those decisions, and getting tactics. So we'll have companies demonstrating how they've incorporated AI successfully, but also more tactical sort of stuff, like if you're earlier on in that AI journey and maybe even just thinking about how or if you should incorporate AI into what you're currently doing. So I think the broad range of topics would be really appealing to most people. And there's 2 tracks. So set aside the full day because there's probably a session you want to attend at all times.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. We do we do record everything. We do live stream everything. That's the word I meant to say. We do live stream everything. So if you can't make it to one of the sessions, it is, and we do write them up after the fact. So that's part of the sponsorship perks as well, which we'll get to next. So I think a perfect segue here. But yeah, if you miss anything, definitely go to catch up. Some of it will come out, on the podcast, but all of it will eventually go up on SaaStr.com in the weeks following the digital event. We've tried to do this as fast as we can. Okay, so if you are like, I've got a product, I've got AI in my product, I want to get in front of SaaStr's audience, right? This is a great place to do it. It's a lower lift than perhaps the in-person events. It's also sooner. It is, we've got SaaStr Europa in June and then the big 10th annual event in September. So quite nice that we're having AI Day at the end of Q1. And a lot of our AI Day sponsorships revolve around getting in front of our audience, and there is a lead capture component of it, which we'll explain. So maybe a great way to think about ending Q1 if you do have an AI-driven product, or if you've got AI features you've just launched that you want the world to know about. This is a great way to get it out there. And also, have folks to follow up with at the end of Q1 and into Q2, because who doesn't need extra pipe right now? So, how we do this in the, I feel like everyone laughs when I say that right now, but then they're like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, okay. So,
Everyone needs leads.
everyone needs leads, man, especially now. So, yeah, so how we've done this in our previous digital events and how it will work for AI Day is during the registration process, we ask all of our attendees, since they are free, the only mandatory fields they have to pick is they do have to pick their sessions while they are signing up. So this is super important if you're thinking about sponsoring, being a part of this, because the sooner you can work with our team to solidify the sponsorship and the partnership and get that content into the launch or as soon as possible, the more signups and leads and yield you will receive. There is a clear time to value here with our digital events, right? The sooner you can get up, the better. Time is the enemy of signups. There's only so many, there's a little bit of time, but there are so many weeks between now and AI Day on March 27th, right? We're a little bit over a month out. And with the launch next week, that's typically when, you see a big first wave of folks of like, all right, everyone is crazy signing up. Lots of people also sign up at the tail end. But really, if you miss that first wave, you kind of can't get those leads back because that time does not come back. So really important to be included in the launch here and chat with us there just to drive a little bit of urgency with folks. If you've already got like a product person or your CEO who's ready to talk about AI, the speaker requirements are, all along the lines of AI and all that guidance. So you can infer them, but yeah, we can send them to you as well. And yeah, so how this works is like the sponsorship package. There's only one package. It does include a speaking slot to AI Day to showcase how your product is, pushing the advancement and integration of AI into SaaS, right? So that's our tagline, where SaaS meets AI. And the lens, right, is that we do typically ask that it's either an executive or like product expert, or if you have an in-house AI expert, right? Chatting about this and sharing it in a way that makes sense for our broader audience, right? Of how can they do it? What do you do? Like, how have you done it? What are the pitfalls? What are the learnings? Still meant to be super tactical, not meant to be a straight up demo of AI product, meant to be, how it happened, who did you need in the room? How did you make this work? What are the maybe cost implications? Is it working? Do customers like it? Were customers asking for it? Those kinds of things. And then how that works with the sponsor is, the sooner we can get your content and speaker on the website, the better as a session, because after the event, you will expect, to get those names that attend as leads, right? So in the past, when we've done this, we've had people between 75 and I would say more than 300, but it depends on the speaker's content and how early you get your content up. So there's a lot of factors. That's why that's a really wide range. That goes into the post-event lead delivery for something like a digital event as AI Day. So these are 10-minute speaking sessions on AI plus like 5 minutes for Q&A, if not longer. We always try and do as much Q&A as we can so that the audience and community can get their questions answered by the experts on AI Day. What did I miss here, Waylon, for people who are thinking about or should be thinking about AI Day?
Yeah, I think like one of the big things to me is that obviously with AI, it's very early, and I see so many products out there right now, solutions with AI that are AI first, and there's not necessarily a
Yeah.
ton of differentiation in the solutions, right? I think I've probably seen at least a dozen tools that transcribe your sales calls, add notes to Salesforce, maybe even Gen AI follow up email for you, and all these things. There's not a ton of differentiation yet for a lot of companies, and I think when that's the case, brand exposure and thought leadership become much more important, because if there's 6 or 7 tools that do roughly similar things at this point, the tool that's in front of people more often is likely the tool that's going to win that race. And I think getting that head start is super critical. These tools are, even if undifferentiated, a lot of them are super valuable,
Yeah.
and they can spread by word of mouth easily. So that early lead can become incredibly impactful.
Yeah, and agree. And I will say a great example is we do these workshop Wednesdays on Wednesdays, because they're run as a Zoom meeting. Like literally in the waiting room, we'll have like 40 different AI recorders, right? From the individual, obviously there's like maybe 5 or 6 different companies that are powering those recorders. So yeah, I do see high traction and engagement in our audience. But yeah, if you asked me the difference between the ones, I'd be like, I can name you the ones that people bring to Workshop Wednesday, right? I can name you the ones we use internally. what are the like core differences? I don't know, but I'll tell you, I know off the top of my head exactly the most popular ones because I'm like they're literally coming every week to Workshop Wednesday. So yeah, it's a really great point that like, if you aren't maybe doing a lot of marketing on that side because you have this AI boost and like Halo right now, the Halo effect may not last forever. So it's maybe good to get ahead of marketing the differentiators, to be a long tail and a go long product for folks. So no, great insights there. If you're newer here or newer to one of maybe our particular digital events versus our in-person events, this is basically the rough breakdown and demographics of it. Very similar to our in-person events, right? Lots of CEOs and founders, sales and marketing. Do think there'll probably be slightly more product folks at AI Day. Yeah, and we simulcast it to our live stream channels, which really helps boost it. I mean, if you go back to, I mean, they're probably harder to find now, but if you go back to some of our live streams that we live streamed on either SaaStr channel or Jason Lemkin's Twitter channel, some of them had like, I don't know, upwards of like 20 or 50,000 views live. So yeah, big reach there. On the streams, I imagine, with AI Day that they will be a hit as well. So kind of expecting the same windfall. And yeah, the cool thing we do here with our digital events, right? Because it is digital versus in person is like we mentioned, it's straight in the agenda. So as folks register and sign up, they pick their sessions. They have to pick at least one. So even if they have to pick some, it is a requirement. So it's a great way, to get people engaged and also, for us to gauge their interests and share with you all when that's relevant. So that's how we do that. If you are unfamiliar with kind of how we do the setup for a digital versus a in-person event, I know a lot of you are familiar with how we do it at annual. So just figured we would talk about how we do it briefly digitally. So yeah, we've kind of talked about our live streams here of how many views they get on the day of by boosting the live streams. Again, sample views here. The content will, I think, yeah, this will take you to some of the tweets there. The other thing I wanted to just note here is on AI Day. We have, I think I've mentioned it maybe a few times now. We do actually already have some sponsors and partners for AI Day. So, one thing I'll call out is like, I think we only have 3 slots left for partners. So if you're like, and we have a lot of folks that are already in active conversations to take those last slots. So if it is something where I know it feels like we always do everything last minute, but if it does feel like something that you want to get in front of, let us know. Just let us know so we can see what we can do to help. And then yeah, the one thing I'll call it here on the website again, we did do this AI Day track. This is not even all the sessions we did at AI Day at SaaStr Annual, but it's a good starting point. So if you missed it, we definitely watch some of these and catch up on them. Right? We had OpenAI. We actually had 2 OpenAI sessions. But yeah, we had OpenAI, Anthropic, Contextual, really big names in like enterprise, IBM, really big, been doing Watson for years, guys. So if you're gonna learn from anyone, that's a good one because they've been doing it for a long time, right? Others like, Mark Robert's talking about his view as an investor at Stage 2 Capital, AWS. Again, this is not even all the sessions. Like we have a whole AI section on SaaStr.com. There's even more of these that you can catch up on, but a good flavor here if you're like, okay, what is kind of the content I should be thinking about if I'm thinking about partnering, or what's kind of the companies that are a good fit to participate. Anything you want to add here, Wayland?
No, I think like obviously we got some good experience in terms of like what the audience wants. So I think it's going to be high quality. Obviously, we did demo or AI Day at SaaStr Annual. I'm excited for IBM session. Like you said, like IBM's been doing AI forever. I think that's what everyone associated AI with until the last few years, obviously with Gen AI. But they're doing some really cool stuff with some really cool companies. That partnership recently with SalesLoft was super interesting. So I'm excited to see what they have in store for us.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, seems like big announcements every day, and I'm sure there'll be announcements made at AI Day. So want to keep up with. Okay, let me come back here, see what else we missed. Yeah, last thing I'll touch on here, just as you're thinking about AI Day, if you're like, okay, I really the best way we think about doing this, and the folks we've already partnered with are also, I should call out, sponsors and partners of SaaStr year long. So everyone's logo that you see on SaaStr.ai is a partner of us for the year. And why that is, it doesn't mean you necessarily have to be. But why that is because, they really see the value in getting in front of our audience for more than one day, right? If you think about a lot of those folks are doing both SaaStr Europa and SaaStr Annual. SaaStr Europa and Annual are multi-day events. A lot of them are doing SaaStr Europa Annual or Annual in media. So I'll talk about our media briefly. There's a reason these folks do it that way, right? It's a great way to get in front of our audience either right before AI Day or following up, right? If you think about it, it's the end of March, so April is like a prime time to get back in front of these folks. Maybe you didn't, folks missed your session. When we do the write-ups and we do send it all out, good way to insert a call to action there or be part of that content is by doing the paid media that we also have. It's a great 1-2 punch. And the reason I bring it up as well, we've talked about it a lot here, but I just want to reiterate, like our media does have limited availability. We just signed a multi-month contract with Adyen, who's been going to be doing some ads. I know IBM has some ads. We've got some other folks who are doing ads. Like the ads are filling up and there's only so many capacity for these. So if you want to do it around an event, right? Like the months around Europa fill up fast. The months around the annual fills up fast. I imagine now that we're doing AI Day in March, like March, I think is limited, limited if any availability, but there might be something. And then April, I'm sure is going to fill next because folks are wanting to do it as like a 1-2 multi-touch marketing play. So yeah, that's one thing to keep in mind. Again, very similar audience in our media to our digital events. So you're going to hit a lot of folks there, maybe even many more folks by doing the media, right? There. So I'll just touch on it super, super fast because we do talk about our media a bit. But yeah, so SaaStr.com is like the original establishment of what we consider and categorize as paid media. So you can think about it in really two ways. There's newsletters and then there's podcasts. So, and if you're thinking like, I'm not used to podcast advertising, it's actually a bit more turnkey, I say sometimes, than even doing the newsletters. Really what you want is like a landing page or an offer, and you just want to write us a script. We do the rest. So we professionally voice it over. We do all the podcasts. You don't have to like invent your own podcast episodes. So super turnkey, super high value, like even, in an audio format. That's one question we get a lot. A lot of folks will have landing pages like, go to SaaStr.com/podcast for the offer. I don't voice them over, but, we've got someone who does it a lot better than I do, and it sounds pretty good. And from our data, people will download these podcasts not only in the month that they release, but also afterwards because they're wanting to share the content out. So one thing to consider there is the podcast and then our newsletter. So yeah, some of these I have to check. I should have checked before, but I know it keeps changing because people keep like taking slots literally every day. So yeah, the daily, the weekly are our more traditional newsletters. Really, the big difference there is the frequency. So the daily goes out 3 times a week. The weekly goes out once a week, but to a slightly bigger audience, right? So that's how those net out. The insider is distributed on LinkedIn as well as email through Jason's account. So if you are like, how can I get like, a connection between Jason's audience specifically and people that I want to target? The insider is the way to do that. That's always the answer that I give there. And just to breeze through it, we've kind of, again, shared the podcast, but I think a big thing here is, our top country is the US, huge share of voice there, which is great. The next one is the UK and then Canada. So yeah, if you've got folks that you're heavily targeting North America and a bit of Europe, this is the place to be on the podcast. A lot of really great content right now coming out on the pod from us. A lot of good like original content. Some of the workshops we we edit up. Yeah, a lot of really great stuff going. CRO Confidential. Those have been really good lately. If you haven't listened to them, give us a listen, and then that will give you a good idea of what to do with your podcast ad. Anything on this one, Whelan?
Yeah, I'd say like Sam Blond, the CRO Confidential ones they've been incredible. Sam's Workshop Wednesday was fantastic as well. We're producing so much content right now that it really is the best of the best that ends up making it into the podcast. And just for, the media in general, the SaaStr audience is obviously, it's an amazing audience. The events are amazing, but there's only so many people who can get there in person. And so if you're trying to reach that audience, and also, it's only in June and September, being
Yeah.
able to reach that audience, 90+% of the audience isn't able to make the events in person. And so it's a great way to reach a similar type of persona, that's not necessarily at the event, and a great way to drive additional traffic. Like if you are going to be at one of our events, um, people don't always know why you're there. What's the newest and latest with you, and putting out some
Yeah.
sort of thought leadership piece or something like that, and a call to action to come to your booth is something that we've seen a lot of success with.
Yep. Yeah, and I will say, I think it's 2 to 3 touches is ideal with our audience, is what we found in the data, right? So if you're thinking about doing AI day and then a podcast, and plus the fact that we do write up the content from AI day after, that's 3 touches right there. So great way to really get sticky with our audience if you're like, no, I really want to hit these people hard at the, end of Q1, beginning of Q2. And then quickly on our newsletters, I'll chat about the weekly, and then a bit about the, again, differentiation with the daily and the insider. So the weekly actually now goes out to 100,000 people. So I've got to update the slide, but it does go out to 100,000 people every Sunday. That is the time where they read it, right? Again, these are high level executives. They're busy. So, they're reading their weekly before they get their Sunday scaries. And they're catching up on maybe what they missed for the week. So that's why I love the weekly. It's the top content of the week. We do this all data driven. So it's literally the top content that people consumed in the week, there. So again, people do open these. They want to catch up. They want to see what was hot. Really great place to get in front of the SaaStr audience here on the weekly. Love these. These are the samples of what it looks like. Ebooks have done really well in these, just as a call out, and also a special offer too, have done really well in the weekly. Slightly different take on the newsletter. The ad unit is a little bit bigger, but this goes out Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. We do rotate slightly more sponsors in the daily, than we do the weekly, just to, again, balance those out, because you've got to think about, there's only 4 Sundays in the month usually, and many more days of the week in the month. So that's how we net those out to get roughly the same amount of clicks either one. So it's not like you'll get more in one versus the other. It's really personal preference on, like, do you want to swap your ads? Then you'd want to do the daily. Do you want to do like more of a billboard style? Then I'd probably recommend the daily. If you want to do a GIF or anything like that, the daily is great for that. The weekly is more like traditional style of, like, you just saw them, like more, banner ad style. People do click them. But there is only like 1 or 2 of those two. So we do limit it. So the daily typically has a bit more ads in it. So yeah, people, again, that's why they're bigger. So showing, where'd my sample go? Here it is. Okay. So yeah, showing those here. Again, people doing, limited time offers in the daily, as well as ebooks. Typically, I'd say don't swap it more than twice, maybe 3 times max, because again, the more you can repeat it, the more it becomes sticky in people's minds here. You don't always have to swap to something new. The LinkedIn insider newsletter goes out 3 times a week. Lately, we've been experimenting on what days of the week are better to get more views and clicks. But yeah, no, these are great. These go out directly via Jason's LinkedIn newsletter. He was recently named a LinkedIn top voice, so super cool to get like that brand authority via LinkedIn. Love this one because everyone's on LinkedIn, so good way to get in front of them where they are. There's not a I think LinkedIn advertising, offhand, is fairly expensive, right? So this is a good way if you want to reach the LinkedIn audience to do it, but also is great because it reaches not only LinkedIn, but it does reach people's inbox. So it's quite nice to kind of get both of, when it publishes. I get an alert when it publishes on my mobile app, 'cause that's how my settings are. But I get it in my Gmail, which is quite nice, right? Like it's nice to get it on my LinkedIn feed. Like I'll see it pop up, and I'll also see it in my Gmail, which is quite nice. So again, if you're trying to cut through the noise and get in front of folks, good way to do that is via LinkedIn, right? Nobody, again, I think we said this last week, or maybe last time you and I did this, we were like, no one has signed up for LinkedIn with their work email.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a huge ad unit too. Like that's one of the
Huge.
nice things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's massive. So like you can get a lot in there.
Yeah, you can see on this one, right? Like they've got this whole chart. Like you just can't do that on the daily and the weekly because it's not like, it kind of cuts off like I don't know, here, right? So you'd have to choose one of those elements. So yeah, you can get a bit more creative with it. There's a bit more real estate. It's more like a billboard, I say. So yeah, if you like, I like billboard style. If you like that, good way to get in front of folks, where they're spending their time and also in their personal inboxes so it doesn't go to spam. So that's why I love the Insider for that. Okay. With that, I know we spent the majority of this time talking about AI Day. We're trying to wrap the half-hour mark here to keep it a little bit more concise. I got to get myself down to 20 minutes, but that's okay. So yeah, if you are interested in AI Day, Waylon, how should folks reach out to you?
Yeah, you can reach me on LinkedIn, or you can reach me, Waylon, at SaaStrInc.com. That's WAYLON at SaaStrInc.com.
Yeah, always smart to spell your name out. Yeah,
Tricky one.
otherwise, yeah. I'm actually AI at SaaStr.com. Haha. So if you can also email me if you want to chat AI day. Yeah, I'm actually wondering how many like generic emails I'm gonna get now because those are my initials and that's been my email. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get a bunch of spam now, but that's okay.
Yeah, like inboxes weren't diluted enough with
I
crazy emails.
know. I was like, oh no, I just realized that. But anyways, it's neither here nor there. I will deal with it. I will find your email. So just let us know. And as always, thanks for watching, and we will see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.